Colorism is a really important topic that I think is important to touch on because it is something that not only affects African American women, but it also affects all different kinds of cultures. They are beautiful, they are gorgeous, they should not feel any kind of way about their complexion. I love my complexion. Oh, this is just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous that we even have to do videos on this. You were made for a purpose, regardless of your complexion.
Christ's love isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Micaiah. I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black.
Sasha here. Excuse me? Supermodels do not fly business class. Now, I'm not gonna demand a private jet, but I think Jag could at least spring for first class.
And I'm bringing you all another commentary video, and we're going to touch on the erasure of the dark-skinned black woman. As you can all see, I'm real festive. I have like a Christmas pajama party that I'm going to. I absolutely love this look, so tis the season. Tis the season, okay? I even have my Hello Kitty. Oh my gosh, I love Hello Kitty. If you know, you know I love Hello Kitty. I love all that kiddish things, but that's not what we're here to talk about, okay? That's not what we're here to talk about. But before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me. And if you're new, hey, and if you're a returner, I truly appreciate the love. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into the video. Time and time again, we have witnessed the erasure of the dark-skinned black woman. Now granted, there are many dark-skinned women flourishing in Hollywood, but we cannot negate that there is a lack of representation for them compared to their light-skinned / biracial counterparts. To reiterate, this is not to tear down the light-skinned women within this video or any light-skinned women that are within Hollywood. However, this is to shine a light on an important issue that is stemmed from the systematic thing that has happened continuously time and time again, known as colorism. So I'm going to keep saying PSAs throughout this whole video because I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions when it comes to colorism, and they think when we're talking about when we're praising a dark-skinned black woman or when we're talking about colorism, that it's an attack on people who are not darker complexion. And this is not what this is. This is just stating the facts of a systematic thing that has been in place time and time again, and these specific examples that I touch on in this video are proof in the pudding that this is something that still occurs and still goes on till this day. And specifically, we'll be talking about the erasure of the dark-skinned black women within media, specifically movies. Okay, that's what we'll be touching on now. There are many examples time and time again through casting that they do not accurately cast the characters that are depicted within these books. Now, each woman in these roles that they executed have done their role well and have done a great job. So this is not neglecting the work of these women. This is not neglecting the craft that they put into this. This is not neglecting that they did an outstanding job on this role, okay? So this is not to bash any of the women in this video. This is just to shed light on colorism and the important topic that is important to be noted, okay? Once again, this is not to bash any of the women that have played these roles, okay? This is not to bash any of those women. However, this is to shine a light on an important issue that happens time and time again within Hollywood. So even though they have done well in their role, we cannot negate that colorism is a prevalent issue that has shown time and time again the repeated pattern of what Hollywood has done. Okay? The repeated pattern of what Hollywood has done. So I'm gonna say this again because I feel like you have to keep reiterating this because people will twist your words and say all this stuff. These women are beautiful women. These women did a phenomenal jobs, but this still does not negate that that Hollywood has a deeper root on why all of this stuff is occurring, okay? This is deeper than what we think. This is deeper, okay? Colorism is a really important topic that I think is important to touch on because it is something that not only affects African American women, but it also affects Indian woman, Asian woman, Hispanic woman. It affects all different kinds of cultures, and it really truly is an issue that occurs in all cultures, that dates back all the way to the beginning of time, right? So that's why I think this is such an important thing to touch on. And this topic is not something light to me. It's actually something I'm very passionate about. So that's why I'm even coming on camera, even speaking on this. I know some people may not even understand what colorism is, because I found that out maybe about a year ago, that a lot of people really truly don't even know what colorism is. So let's first get into the definition before we even touch on what Hollywood has done time and time again. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Okay, so in the sense of where this ideology came from, where a lighter complexion is more attractive, more beautiful, more accepted.
To say it simple and plain, we know a lot of this ideologic and rhetoric comes from a Eurocentric lens.
I think that is so ignorant, and the truth of the matter is a lot of people still have that mindset to this day. I don't think there's anything wrong with people having their preference. However, I think their preference can also turn into hatred, also turn into a lot of bias towards the opposite. Let me just keep it a buck. Let me just keep it a buck. I'm trying to be a little like walk the thin line of things, but let me just keep it a buck.
Even within the video, I still didn't say it simple and plain. So honestly, a lot of times, a lot of people's preference tend to be hatred towards that other thing as well. There's a lot of underlying harmful rhetoric that is like spewed out constantly, and it digs deeper than just your preference.
Than just a preference. I'm not even saying certain men don't prefer darker complexion women, because they do. But like I said, this preference can also, it's deeper than that, but I don't even want to touch on that right now. But within the media, we have seen time and time again the erasure of the dark-skinned woman, right? Specifically the dark-skinned black woman. And it has happened within various different movies, and the topics that I will be specifically touching on within this video are the following. Well, first, we'll be touching on Sasha from Bratz, Storm from X-Men, Star from The Hate U Give. Last but certainly not least, we'll be touching on Nettie from The Color Purple. So I will have 4 points of examples that I will be touching on, so that there's proof in the pudding that this does exist and this does happen, and we can't act oblivious towards this. And I'll also be inputting different TikTok clips or different clips that I see that I think hits it on the head on why this is an issue that needs to be talked about more and or needs to be rectified. Okay,
first up, Sasha from Bratz. Within the cartoon, Sasha has been depicted as a beautiful dark-skinned black woman. However, within the live action, she was depicted as a beautiful light-skinned black woman, played by Logan Browning. Now, Logan is a beautiful woman, and she ate down and hit the floor, okay? If you know, you know. But I cannot negate that this was an intentional and accurate representation of who Sasha is physically. Now, I loved the live action Bratz movie, and of course I was younger, so I didn't really pay attention to the inaccurate representation with all the characters. If I'm being honest, I'm not going to lie, that movie is still close to my heart. However, I think there was a lot of flaws within the movie in general, but to specifically focus on Sasha, I do believe within casting, it was an intentional call to not cast a dark-skinned woman, rather a light-skinned woman. And Logan did a great job on her role, so this is not negating that. However, it's just important to point out the colorism that does occur within a lot of these casting. Next, we'll be touching on Storm from X-Men. Within the comics, Storm is a beautiful dark-skinned woman from Africa and had a deep connection to her African roots. However, within the live action, she was depicted by the beautiful Halle Berry, who is clearly a light-skinned woman. Now, this is not attacking Halle Berry's contribution to the role. However, this is a prime example of an inaccurate depiction being displayed on our screens. Now, I just started reading the X-Men comics, and I never knew that Storm was a darker complexion woman because I only grew up knowing Halle Berry. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize. Here we go again. This is what the media does. And I actually would like to cosplay as Storm one time to give like that representation right there. But like I stated before, it's a clear, it's clearly intentional. It is clear as day. Next, we'll be touching on Star from the Hate You Give. Now, before I dive into this section, I want to note that this was an outstanding movie with an impactful message. I watched this movie before I read the book, and when I read the book afterwards, I quickly realized that this was supposed to be a darker complexion woman, as you can see on the cover. So this displayed that this casting was an inaccurate representation of what the book embodied. Star grows from an uncertain teenage girl to an outspoken activist for change in her community. Mandela Stenberg played Star within the movie and did an outstanding job within this role. So this is not to degrade her impact. It's just to point out the deliberate move in Hollywood to erase the dark-skinned black woman time and time again.
I think it's shocking how Amanla got casted as the role of Star in The Hate You Give, because if you guys don't remember, this was on the cover of the book and they look very different. And don't get me wrong, Amanla killed the role of Star. She did phenomenal. But when it comes to casting, something I've always said is that Hollywood should get it right. They shouldn't try to limit the casting of dark-skinned women to play these roles, because I'm sure a lot of people were shocked when they cast Amanla, because they're like, what? This is not what I read in the book. Before y'all start bringing up Annabeth and Little Mermaid, y'all need to pause right there, because the literal creator of the Percy Jackson series casted her, so y'all need to. And what I'm speaking on here is about representation first and foremost. So do not get it twisted and don't think I'm diminishing Amanla and what she did for this movie, because she killed it.
Last but certainly not least, we'll be touching on Nettie from The Color Purple, played by Halle Bailey. Within the book, Nettie is Cecilia's sister, who is described as a dark-skinned black woman. To reiterate, Halle did a great job within this role, and this is not to attack the actors, it's to point out the flaws within the system. And I love Halle. She eats the girls down with her locks. I love how she embraces her naturalness and all of that good stuff. However, I think it is important to point out that she was casted rather than a darker complexion woman.
We cannot negate that this is still a prevalent issue. For example, Coco Jones. I love Coco Jones. She is so beautiful. Her Christmas album was so cute, or EP, whatever you would like to call it, was so good. And you have to give her flowers, okay? And when I first seen her on the scene, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you did, was on Let It Shine. She was supposed to be elevated after Let It Shine. Did you ever see her on another Disney show after that again? No, you did not, right? And she even speaks on that in one of her videos that she posted on YouTube a good amount of years back, on she was pushed into this corner because she was a dark-skinned black woman. That's just the truth of the matter. She was pushed into this corner. She was not elevated on Disney. Even when you see a lot of the black women who were elevated on Disney, let's be honest, these are bomb black women. I grew up on That's So Raven. I love That's So Raven. But we can't negate that Raven was a lighter complexion. We cannot negate Zendaya. Zendaya is a beautiful woman. Zendaya has really, and she's one of the pioneers that speaks on colorism and this issue within media as well. So I'm going to give Zendaya all of her flowers when it comes to this. But specifically touching on her elevation within Disney, she was a lighter complexion black woman. So look, she was able to elevate, and look at where she is now. She has done amazing things. But for Coco Jones, she didn't have that same trajectory. Right now, Coco has been nominated for a Grammy. She's on Bel Air. She's doing the thing, okay? However, it's important to not brush away what has happened within the past, and how do we rectify that so this doesn't happen to other younger, dark-skinned complexion black women, okay? This is just so important to me, because I myself, as a dark-skinned black woman, always want to make sure that I am in the forefront and showing that positive representation of a darker complexion black woman, because I feel like a lot of people have a negative standard, and that's their own personal issue. However, I want those little young black chocolate girls to know that they can flourish and that they can reach higher expectations than what is set out for them. They are beautiful, they are gorgeous, they should not feel any kind of way about their complexion. I love my complexion, and I'm thankful that I've had family members around me that have always poured into me and showed love to me and always praised my complexion and always praised how I look. So I never felt any kind of way. But I'm not going to negate that when I went out in the world, I would see if I went out with another lighter counterpart, how they may be getting more love in that instance. That doesn't always happen, but I'm using an example because of their complexion. and I could probably look better and all of that good stuff. However, because of their lighter complexion, they'll be elevated, right? All I'm saying is that colorism is still a prevalent issue that goes on, and this is something important to not throw underneath the rug, okay? This is something important not to throw underneath the rug. I know some people may be in their bubble and you may not be aware that this is something that does happen. However, I urge you to dig deeper is these casting directors. I don't know who is casting. I don't know what is occurring. I don't know what is going on. However, these casting directors need to do a better job at making sure that they're accurately representing what occurs, specifically what occurs in these books.
Hey y'all, if you've ever been pissed about the lack of dark skin representation for women and girls in film and TV, stop scrolling. It's not a coincidence that there's no dark skinned girls on your screen. This stuff doesn't just happen. It's because of casting calls. And it's because of racist casting directors. And just productions not wanting us on screen. I'm an actor, and so I was on Actors Access, which is a really common site for actors to use to submit auditions and just like see what's going on in the industry. And I saw something that pissed me off. This is a casting call for the play Buena Vista Social Club. Look closely and see if you can find the issue. Every single role that calls for someone female presenting asks for mixed/Afro-Cuban actors. However, every male presenting role asks for Black Cuban actors. I know the people who posted this can tell the difference too, because the male presenting roles, some of them say mixed or Black Cuban, but they're not calling full Black people for the female roles, only mixed. As a dark-skinned Cuban woman, you can submit, but...
Okay? Now, if this is a new show and all that, that's a different issue. We can even touch on Casey Undercover and how all that, and how she had too darker complexion. All of her family members were darker complexion, and then Zendaya. But that's another day for another story. That is something important to touch on as well. That I'll probably make that into a whole separate video. However, specifically when it comes to how it's not lining up with the book. If a book is stating that it's a darker complexion Black woman or a Black girl or whatever it is, and then you cast the lighter complexion woman, it makes me think like, okay, what are we doing here? You cannot tell me you didn't find the right actors that are dark in complexion, because there's so many women within the acting industry that are dark in complexion, that are talented, and so many unknown women, right? Let's just make sure we put casting directors within those positions that are accurately depicting these books, because time and time again these books are not depicted accurately, and I'm not stating that none of these women are not outstanding and doing their thing, the ones who are picked for these roles. However, this doesn't happen if the character is said to be white, or if this character is said to be light-skinned. They don't turn around and do a darker complexion woman. They don't turn around and do that, right? So to me, let's make sure we're accurately depicting these books and not erasing and pushing out the beautiful Black dark-skinned women, right? Because I even think of Starfire from Teen Titans, and then the live action Teen Titans show that they had that I thought was pretty good. And so many people were mad that Starfire was the dark-skinned Black woman. First of all, Starfire is an alien, that's one. So why is that weird? That, come on, it's not making sense. But even then, you see all the backlash that was given for that. But I promise you, if she was a light-skinned Black woman, there probably would have been little to no commentary on that. Little to no commentary. Okay, so I don't know, this is just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous that we even have to do videos on this, that we even have to talk about this. I think this is really, truly ridiculous. Time and time again. But I thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me. And I want you all to know that you are loved. You are made for a purpose, regardless of your complexion, regardless if you have 10 toes, regardless if you have 5 toes, okay? You are loved by the one who created the universe, and you are precious and you are special to him. So if you are even watching this video, you lived another day to keep fighting, to keep moving forward. So I encourage you to keep moving forward regardless of your circumstances. And I will see you all in the next video. Stay blessed, everyone.
Y'all know I am. I'm that young man. Just